Hi everyone, Chris again with Arizona Outback, and I have the new Minelab SDC2300, and I'm going to go ahead and turn the unit on and just go through some of the features and a quick start on how to set up the unit. First thing you're going to want to do is turn the detector on. That's done here with this button. You just simply pull it out. You should be able to hear the unit firing up. After you hear those beeps, you know the unit is on. You can hear the hum, that's the threshold. Light illuminates here on the LCD. Normally you'd do a noise cancel, would probably be your first step. You'd want to hit this button, you just press it in and release it, and the machine scans through all the possible channels looking for the quietest frequency. You should probably do this every time you go detecting. I've already done it earlier, so I'm okay. This is a threshold setting here, this button here. Every time you click it, the threshold will get louder, and finally when you hit the very end of the level, the next push will take it back down to 0 and you'll have to build it up again. Now the other really important setting here is the detecting mode or the sensitivity. Minelab recommends that you start off in this 2 position here. That's why it's colored green. That's where they recommend you start with. If the ground is fairly mild, it's not very mineralized, you might be able to get away with going with some higher settings here. See, this says normal. Down here in the blue, this is what they're calling the salt range. Probably won't be using this a whole lot, you know, on the North American gold fields. It would be very helpful on the beach if you're doing some detecting along the beaches, or if you happen to be in Australia where they have a lot of salt lakes and a lot of salt mineralization. You definitely would want to experiment with these settings. So for today, for right now, we're just going to go ahead and leave it in the 2 position, and we'll see how our ground balance does. This is a very mineralized ground. I'll get down here. As you can see, there's a lot of different rock types here. The dirt has this kind of reddish tint to it. This is a big ironstone here. We can see pieces of quartz laying around, and actually all of these rocks here, this whole area, is all dry wash tailings. These are all coarse dry wash. This was probably done during the Depression era. So we are right in a nugget patch, and this is very noisy ground. So we'll go ahead and balance the SDC. First thing you're going to want to do is just lower the coil to the soil and listen to the threshold. And you see I'm getting a little bit of a positive feedback when I go towards the ground. That's the minerals. So very easy to ground balance. All we're going to do is push on this green button. We're going to push it and hold it in while we bob the coil up and down. When we don't hear much change either way, the machine's ground balanced, we let go of the button and we start detecting. So here we go. I'm going to press in the green button and hold it, and then I'm going to pump the coil above the ground. Take your time, nice and easy. You don't want to hit the ground when you're doing this. Just nice, gentle pumps towards the soil here. And I can already hear that most of that noise is gone. And it might be difficult to get rid of all of it if it's really noisy ground like this, but for our purposes today, this is pretty good. So once it sounds good, just hold your coil steady, let off the green button, and away you go. Now we're good to hunt. Now if the ground does seem quiet and you can get away with it, like I said, it might be a wise idea to come here on our detecting mode setting and just push it a little bit. Let's pull this out and set it up to a 3, and let's see if we can get away with it. The higher numbers that we can get, the more sensitivity and depth, and probably the higher probability of gold we're going to find. The only downside is if you're in very noisy ground like this, if you set it too high, you're going to get so much feedback from the soil that it's going to make it even tougher to hear targets, and you will miss nuggets. But let's just see how a 3 does. Okay, we're getting away with that pretty well. I didn't re-ground balance yet. Let's just take it up to a 4 and see what happens. All right, there's our noise. So we'll re-ground balance, hold in the green button. And this SDC is doing a great job. I'm actually really surprised. It is handling this ground wonderful. I'm getting some noise, but like I said, with a VLF detector, it's nearly impossible to even swing in here. That's pretty decent. We could hear through this. I think if we went much higher, we'd be struggling a little bit. But as of right now, it's totally getting away with the setting of 4 right now. And we can hear a little bit of interference. You hear those oscillations every now and then. Could be an airplane. Very impressive. The better your machine can ground balance out the minerals, the better chances that you're going to hear a target. And this SDC is doing a good job so far.